Alright, welcome back YouTube. Brother Kimo here from Reload Hawaii. We're going to be talking about 1911s this evening, and more specifically, having a look at what you're going to get when buying a budget 1911 like this Tisas, and comparing it against something that's a little bit more refined like the Springfield GI model. We're going to go over pricing, reliability, accuracy, the whole thing, everything you're going to need to know exactly what you're getting into if you purchase one or the other. But for now, okay, welcome back guys. Let's get into the meat of the review here. So this guy down here, this 1911 is the Tisas. The one on top is a Springfield Armory. Let's cover pricing first. This guy you can find for about 350 bucks. This guy anywhere from 600 to 700. This is a basic GI model from Springfield. It's got some mods on it, but basically this guy used to look like this guy earlier on, but the previous owner had modified it for a competition gun. But both are basically GIs. This one's modified. Again, 350, about 600. So for the sake of the video, let's just say that this one costs twice as much as this one. They're both made out of carbon steel. I'd be willing to wager that this one is made out of a higher type of quality of carbon steel, but you know what, this one works really well for my purposes. This is the pistol that I'm using to teach the NRA basic pistol safety course. It's parkerized, and it's really nice parkerizing. For a $325 gun, this has around 1,000 rounds through it. You can see here, right about there, you can see Made in Turkey Tisas. I'll flip it around so you can see the model right here, Zig M 1911. And as you can see, there's really no horrible scratches that affected the parkerizing. So well done by Tisas. Here's the Springfield. You can see the bluing on here. Not one of my favorite finishes. It's annoying how it picks up fingerprints and stuff like that, and it's very difficult to take care of as compared to a parkerized pistol. But that's pretty much all that's there. Let me show you these side by side here. I can show you the modifications that were done to this one. So starting from the top, this does have target sights on them. The previous owner put that on there. The back of the slide had to be milled down right in the section so that this could fit back there. So that was an expensive mod. And these are okay. As compared to the regular GI sights with a very thin blade, a little bit easier to line this one up when you're running around. You can see here that this portion here, the hammer, this has the standard GI spur. This one used to have it, but it's got the skeletonized hammer there. Skeletonized trigger as compared to the standard trigger. Extended mag release, standard mag release. And this one really works well, man. Talk about ease of use. I have really small hands, and this one is very easy for me to do a one-handed magazine drop here. This one has a little bit different grips on it. It's got finger grooves. Very cheap plastic, but for my purposes, that's fine. This has the extended beaver tail grip safety. This one has a standard grip safety here. This also has a mag well inserted on the bottom of it, so when you're running and you're inserting a mag, it kind of funnels the mag into the actual mag well itself. This is a standard one. You notice that this also is the safety, larger safety, and also a larger slide catch than the standard model. But when you look at them, minus all of this stuff in here, you can see that the lines are very similar. Like if you look at this triangular area on the trigger guard here, they're about the same size. The lines over here are almost identical. They're based on the same platform. So, these are very well done, and I don't think just by looking at them, there's not a quality in the difference there. Now, when I grab onto this, I will say this, that because of the extended grip beaver tail, this feels a lot more comfortable in my hand. But overall, when you grab onto it, you can tell that there's a little bit of difference in quality when hanging onto a Springfield. But again, the question is it worth double the price just for a feel of a quality pistol? For the answer, you're gonna know. Some people in their brains have to have something that's higher quality, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's gonna make you shoot better, then by all means go for it. I'm going to take a quick break here. I'm going to take off the slide so we can see what the barrel looks like, what the inside of the slide looks like, and then what the top of the frames look like, just so we get a better picture. And then I'll stop again and we'll go into the results that I had at the range. Okay guys, see you in a bit. Okay, welcome back everybody. So on Stumpy right now, you can see I've disassembled both 1911s here, and I have kind of the parts you're going to run into when you do a field strip. You know, I got the bushing, the barrel bushing here, recoil spring, slide stop pins, and the barrels. And as you can tell just by looking at them, there really is no way to tell the difference between the two. I've actually swapped parts back and forth between both, and they work in the guns themselves. I think these parts are probably all the same. These are both probably cold hammer forged barrels. If you want to pick them up and take a look at them like that, you know, these are a little bit dirty because I just saw them. You can actually see that this one's a little bit thicker. Dimensions are the same. This one has a different link here because it's using a different type of system to give it more accuracy. It's called the group gripper, which I didn't see any gains on, but you know, they're identical in every way, even down to it's, you know, fit. They fit in each other's frames. So speaking of the frames, let me bring them up here. So here's the Tisas, and I'm bringing this up so you can see that there's you know, milling in here. You can see what that looks like in here. And let me bring up the Springfield so you can see the same thing. So if I put them side by side like that, I mean, there's really not much of a difference that's going on with both of these. You know, and then weight-wise, to me, they feel about the same. So you can check that out there. Interesting to look at these side by side. You know, one's twice as much as the other one. But the Tisas is based on this system, so, or platform. So you can kind of see why the similarities are there. But let me bring over the slides so you guys can have a look at that too. The one on my left hand is going to be the Tisas. The one on my right hand is going to be the Springfield, and you can see what these look like side by side as well. If anything, I might notice a little bit of more machining in this guy, but that's because I think this one is a little bit newer. The machining in here probably wore off, but you know, if I didn't tell you that this was the Springfield, I don't think there would be any really visible way to know which is which. So guys, it's going to be really up to you. The next couple slides are going to be about the results I got from these. But so far, in looking at the parts and the weight and seeing how these are constructed, I don't see a six or a double the amount worth paying for. And again, I'm always going to bring in the fact that if you are a person that really has to have the best to perform well, you know, like I was saying earlier, I'm using the Tisas for class. I'm not using it for competition shooting. Then by all means, get a Springfield, get a Colt, you know, get a Kimber. But that's not to say you couldn't modify a Tisas to be just as good. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to rearrange stuff, and then let's talk about the results. And that'll be the ending of the video. And hopefully by the ending, you'll have a pretty good feel for which option that you might want to go for, or even if you're considering buying a budget one, you know, how high quality these are. So let's stop. I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, let's go over the results. So here's what I got. Let me just back up a second. We know from what I just went over that the Tisas costs anywhere from $350 to $400, and that the Springfield is almost twice its price, sliding in at somewhere between $700 and $800, depending on where you buy them from and if you have to pay for shipping and FFL fees. So is it worth your money? These are the results that I came up with, and just to kind of give you some framework, I'll give you some background on my shooting experience. I consider myself an enthusiast. I shoot maybe once a week, twice a week if I'm lucky. These were all shots standing, slow fire. You know, I'm not very tactical, so maybe you can take where you're at in your shooting career and match it toward mine and see how it's going to mesh with yours. But now that we got that out of the way, let's go over the first slide here. So the first set that I got going on here were shot at the indoor range, and this first one here was shot at, I believe, 5 yards. The Springfield is on the left, the Tisas is on the right, and as you can see, they were pretty good, and these were shot at a slow fire, so there's like a 1 second pause between it, so it's like bang, 1,000, bang, 1,000. And as you can see, for me, these results are almost identical. I'm not seeing the $400 difference there. Here is at 7 yards, the Tisas being on the right at 7 yards, and the Springfield on the left.
You can see on the left there how I probably kind of pushed forward a little bit there on the Springfield. I went low. The Tisas has a nice little grouping here, but so far at 7 yards, I consider these almost the same too, and still not seeing a $400 difference there. The next two slides, excuse me, were basically what I did here was I took a little black label dot and I pushed the target out to 15 yards. So you can see the Tisas is a little bit closer than the Springfield. That was the first round that I did. You know, very close, but definitely, I mean, the Tisas is closer at $350 coming in. It could just be me again. And here's a second time I did a 15-yard single shot. You can see that the results there are almost similar. Again, still not seeing the big difference in value there. The next two slides are kind of interesting because I tried to, you know, double tap and rapid fire as best as I could to my ability. So the slide on the left was my first attempt at a double tap. So you can see on the left side with the letter A, my first shots for both the Tisas and the Springfield Armory were in the middle, and then the follow-up shots for both the Springfield Armory is up there on the upper left-hand corner on the left slide, and the Tisas went a little bit low on my double tap there. On the right-hand side was my second attempt. You can see here that my first shots were on the right-hand side. The Springfield Armory almost tagged that center dot there, and the Tisas lower, and the follow-up shots went to the left. These were done at 5 yards. Next was my rapid fire at 3 yards. So I tried to go as fast as I could, which wasn't really quickly when you look at, you know, what professional shooters do. But I got the tape measure down on there, and you know they're measuring about the same, same type of, you know, groupings in my opinion. I mean, you can see where the Springfield on the left-hand side at 3 yards grouped, you know, a couple shots inside the same hole. But when you look at it as a whole, I don't know, you know, that $400 difference is kind of not looking worth it. To make matters worse, here's the 25 yard target at the outdoor range. So if you add up all these little points here, these are about 1 inch, I'd say, apart. That equals 12. This is the Tisas. And let me quickly switch over to the Springfield slide here. If you add these up, they're also going to equal 12. Both of them will equal 12. So again, I got them at 3, 5, 7, 15, and 25 yards. I got about 200 rounds through both of these pistols and didn't have any malfunctions on either. You know, everything fed properly. There's you know, no malfunctions to speak of. So food for thought, guys. You're going to take the information that you got from the first half, you know, physically looking at the pistols, and you're going to see the results that I got. You compare it to possibly your own shooting styles, and you can come up with your own, you know, diagnosis for your wallet to see if you want to spend the extra 4 to 5. Okay, guys, let's wrap this up. One last thing I forgot to mention. Both of these have had trigger jobs done to them. They're pulling both at around 3 pounds and very crisp. The Tisas came out of the box with a staggering 7-pound trigger, so factor 50, 60 bucks into doing a trigger job for that. But still, being twice the amount, I think you're going to get a very excellent deal. So if you're, you know, looking at a Tisas or a Gerson or even an Arms Core, you're going to get really good reliability, very good accuracy from both of these pistols. It's just a matter of which one you want to choose, and I'm going to include Gerson and Arms Core in there. But go for it, guys. You're going to get a great deal. That concludes the review section. So last thing, I just want to remind everybody that if you are in the state of Hawaii and you need to take your NRA pistol shooting class to get your affidavit, stop by reloadhawaii.com. It's got all the information you need to sign up for the class. Check me out on Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook. I'm there. I'm going to leave a link on the bottom for the Tisas review. It's been a pleasure, guys. And as always, I will catch you later.